Donald Trump got hit with both ends of the stick yesterday. The United States Supreme Court has not bailed him out, including a 5-4 new decision, which allows his sentencing to go forward in New York on the Stormy Daniels 34-count criminal conviction. Wait till you hear who the five are and what they ruled and why it matters. I'm Michael Popok. You're on Legal AF, the YouTube channel. Let's get right into it in this fast-moving and breaking story. Donald Trump was scheduled since last Friday to be sentenced in New York before Justice Merchan in the New York State Supreme Court for his 34-count felony conviction about the Stormy Daniels hush money criminal conspiracy. He's been fighting it ever since. He's tried for the last 6 months to delay the inevitable, that his criminal process be concluded with a sentence to allow him full appeal rights. You want to appeal? You got to get to the sentencing part. That's really been his problem. Well, and especially since Justice Merchan has said he's not going to throw Donald Trump in jail. He's going to do an unconditional discharge, keeping the felonies on the books, but not making him serve any time. But Donald Trump doesn't want to go through a sentencing process, and he certainly doesn't want to do it without a fight. So he went to 3 separate courts before he went to the United States Supreme Court. He went to Justice Merchan and asked him to stay the sentencing, and he said no. He ran off to the Manhattan Appellate Court, the First Department, Appellate Division, and an emergency duty judge. She said no, mainly because he hasn't exhausted his appeal rights, and he needs to get the sentence under his belt in order to take these types of appeals, but they're not going to stop the sentencing. And then 3, he ran to the Court of Appeals, which is the highest court in New York, and they said no, which left him one last Hail Mary, which of course he was going to take, jump the tracks, throw a pass to the United States Supreme Court. United States Supreme Court found it moderately interesting. It went first, as I had predicted, to Justice Sotomayor, because she sits over all things New York, and she referred it to the full court, all 9, and they took a look at it, and they voted. First, they got a filing from Donald Trump, this petition for stay, arguing that there was some sort of presidential immunity, that Justice Merchan had made errors in certain pieces of evidence that he let in that had some immunity quality to them, and that the Supreme Court needed to intervene right now and stop the sentencing and sort of take up his appeal before it's even complete, which you could see where that was going, and some other arguments about everything must stop because immunity has been raised, even though immunity has not been raised here in the way that you think it has. Donald Trump's already waived that his actions before he was elected president, which are at the heart of the Stormy Daniels case, are not immune. He wasn't president. So he already waived that. The only issue was after he was president, he did certain things in furtherance of the conspiracy or paying back the money to Michael Cohen and related items. So should that have gone to the jury or not? But that's not reversible error. That's just minor pieces of evidence against a mountain of evidence against him. And certainly that's something he should exhaust through with the appellate process, 2 levels in New York's state process, not jump to the federal appellate court that doesn't have a complete record before them. So then the Manhattan DA filed its brief, basically demanding sentencing now. There's no such thing, they argued, as president-elect immunity, that the Friday, the sentencing is not going to interfere with anything. It's an hour Zoom. Everything's already been done. He's already been prosecuted, convicted, and now he's just about to be sentenced. And there's no immunity issue in play because everything about the case was before he was president. Everything, including the sentencing. That's their argument. So the Supreme Court said that they would rule, and they have 5-4 against Donald Trump. Now, the 5 are interesting. It's what I thought it would be. It was the 3 moderate, Democratic wing of the Supreme Court, which is Ketanji Brown Jackson, Sotomayor, and Kagan. And I said they better aim for Amy Coney Barrett, because she's become the centrist, might be right center, but centrist on the court, and see if she can drag Roberts and or Kavanaugh over. I said Gorsuch was a lost cause. And that's exactly what happened. She was able, I believe, to get John Roberts over to her side, join the other 3 in a 5-person bloc, majority bloc, to rule against Donald Trump, leaving Gorsuch, Alito, and Thomas in their wake. I mean, Gorsuch is now reliably super MAGA. He might be right of Alito and Thomas on most issues. I mean, a couple of issues he seems a little bit more moderate, but not on things that matter and not about things that relate to the presidency. So I thought he was a lost cause. And Kavanaugh, he's unreliable. It's hard to tell where his head is at any particular moment. But he sided with the 4. But 5-4 is all you need. You just need to count to 5 at the United States Supreme Court. And they have refused to block the sentencing. And they gave a number of reasons, which are all legit. They said, first of all, and this just shows the brilliance of Justice Merchan, because Justice Merchan signaled to the world a week ago he wasn't going to put Donald Trump in prison. And we were all upset about that, understandably, because we want him to go to prison. But I believe now why he did it is because he was hoping to make it Supreme Court proof. He was hoping to make his decision Supreme Court proof. And they mentioned it in the order. They said that one of the reasons that they're not granting the emergency application is because he's not going to jail. And so it's not going to impair or impede him. He's going to get a discharge. And so we'll deal with it on a normal appellate process in the state court. The other was stay in state court. Finish your appellate process there. The couple of items that you're mentioning about evidence and immunity, that's over there. And they basically conceded that there's no such thing as president-elect immunity by extension, although they don't say it exactly like that. And then Donald Trump got that. And of course, he's trying to make lemonade out of lemon. So he's like, I think it was a good decision. I'll play their little game. I'll go to the this is Donald Trump from his social media posting. I'll go to their sentencing. Let's get it over with this lawfare attack on me. We're back to being Trump on the cross. And that's how they're trying to make this out. But they've reached the end of the road. They are getting sentencing. Next time you see me here on on Legal AF, particularly, I'll tell you about what the sentence was. It's going to be no jail time, but there's going to be a lot that Justice Merchan is going to get off his chest about Donald Trump and his conduct and his behavior, his refusal to take responsibility, his attacks on the court's family, the prosecutors, the process, the criminal justice process, him being completely a rogue at all times, the amount of times of contempt he was found in, his heinous acts to interfere with the election in 2016. That's all coming out with Justice Merchan. I'd be shocked if he just said, okay, thanks for being here. Let's do roll call. All right, Donald Trump's here. All right, you're out. Convictions stand, but I'm giving you an unconditional discharge. Good night, everybody. Mic drop. That's not happening. So that's why Donald Trump. He's going to phone in for this one, though. He's going to do it by Zoom, with his face. And then Donald Trump, now that the final judgment of decree of the conviction is in place with the sentencing, he can go off to do his appeals. And the appeals stay in the state court system because that's where they belong. This is an ordinary state prosecution. Okay, period. So First Department, Appellate Division, he can go brief everything there, complain all he wants about Merchan, and then he can take it up to the Court of Appeals, the highest court in New York, complain all he wants. But I don't think he's ever going to see the light of day in the Supreme Court again, federal Supreme Court, on these particular issues. I think that's done and dusted, as they say. So until my next report, I'll come right back to you here as soon as I hear about the sentencing and give you my analysis on Legal AF, the YouTube channel. Hit the subscribe button, please. We're trying to get to 400,000 this weekend and 500,000 by our half birthday. We're going to get there. We're in 4 months and 400,000. At this rate, you know where we're going, but it's only with your help, and I really appreciate it. This is Michael Popok reporting. In collaboration with the Midas Touch Network, we just launched the Legal AF YouTube channel. Help us build this pro-democracy channel where I'll be curating the top stories at the intersection of law and politics. Go to YouTube now and free subscribe at Legal AF MTN. That's at Legal AF MTN.